In July 2025, 18-year-old Makayla Settles packed up her life in Raleigh, North Carolina, and moved across the country to chase a new beginning. Her destination was Moore Park, California. She was moving in with her biological father, Vincent Chavez, who had promised to provide a car and financial support to help her get through college. Just 2 days after she arrived, following a day of drinking at a family gathering, Chavez purchased additional alcohol for the two of them to drink at home. That night, he allegedly sexually assaulted her. Makayla went to the hospital. A forensic rape kit was administered, which definitively confirmed the presence of her father's DNA, documenting the severe physical trauma she had endured. Authorities arrested Chavez immediately. However, he quickly posted a $250,000 bail and was released. Despite having irrefutable physical evidence of a violent assault, the legal process allowed the perpetrator to walk free, leaving an 18-year-old to process a devastating betrayal on her own. Makayla retreated back to North Carolina to live with her mother. She tried to piece her life back together, enrolling in classes to become a nail technician and looking for a path forward. The psychological weight of the abuse proved overwhelming. On December 28, 2025, 5 months after the attack, Makayla took her own life. While Makayla's mother, Carolina, was grieving, Chavez sent her a text message. In it, he blamed Carolina for the suicide, explicitly accusing her of giving her daughter the rope. Carolina replied directly to the man whose DNA was found in the hospital rape kit. "I gave her the rope when I gave her to you." The assault did not end with Makayla's death. It fractured the family entirely, leaving a mother to navigate a legal system against an unrepentant abuser. Prosecutors in Ventura County were immediately faced with a severe evidentiary void. Makayla's death meant their primary witness was gone. To successfully prosecute a charge of forcible rape, the state generally relies on oral testimony. The victim must take the stand to definitively establish to a jury that there was no consent. The district attorney's office informed the family of their reluctance to proceed. Without Makayla there to testify, they warned that the case might be dismissed entirely before ever reaching a trial. The strict rules of evidence created a devastating legal loop. Because the trauma inflicted on the victim was so severe that she did not survive it, the perpetrator was suddenly insulated from facing the most serious charges. Makayla's family refused to accept a dismissal. Her cousin, Crystal Sandoval, publicly vowed that they were not going to let the district attorney's hesitation dictate the outcome. A massive digital advocacy campaign erupted on platforms like Lemonade. Using dedicated hashtags, supporters organized physical rallies, showing up in pink outside the Ventura County courthouse to demand action. The pressure moved from protests to paperwork. Advocates submitted official documents to oversight bodies, demanding an immediate prosecutorial review of the decision. These legal demands explicitly linked the inciting crime to her suicide, arguing that the assault was directly responsible for the fatal outcome. They cited specific California penal codes and constitutional rights, insisting the state leverage the hospital's forensic data to prosecute without oral testimony. The community weaponized public outrage and formal documentation to act as Makayla's proxy voice, forcing a hesitant legal system to keep the investigation alive. The public pressure finally forced a shift. The district attorney's office conducted an exhaustive review of the medical, forensic, and electronic evidence, and finally announced a resolution. The terms of the plea deal revealed exactly what the prosecution was willing to risk. The severe forcible rape charges were dropped completely. Instead, Chavez agreed to plead guilty to 2 specific charges: felony incest and a misdemeanor for providing alcohol to a minor. In court, he made a formal admission, acknowledging on the record that he took advantage of a position of trust and that the victim was particularly vulnerable. The plea was a deeply negotiated compromise. The state secured a guaranteed felony conviction and bypassed a difficult trial, but sacrificed addressing the full nature of the sexual assault. Because of the specific charges in the plea agreement, the absolute statutory maximum sentence Chavez faces is years in state prison. Upon his release, he will be required to register as a sex offender for 20 years. Prosecutors expressed satisfaction that he was remanded into custody, but the public reacted with outrage over the short duration of the sentence compared to the permanent loss of an 18-year-old girl. This friction exposes a flaw in the system. The legal justice achieved in this courtroom is based strictly on what prosecutors felt they could prove on paper without a victim, leaving the moral cost of her suicide entirely unaccounted for. The strict rules of evidence delivered a bitterly inadequate sentence. Yet, driven by relentless digital advocacy, Makayla's legacy forces an urgent conversation about how the law handles perpetrators when their victims have been silenced.